Okay, so let's just talk real briefly here on a little scenario that every relationship goes through. Every relationship. And they go through it multiple times, can be multiple times in a week, sometimes in a day. Hopefully not in a day. That'd be a lot. But in a week, in a month, no relationship is just on this, upward trajectory. It should be like that, but it's more it's if it's like this, if it's like a spike, that's that tends to have a drop then too. Spike drop, spike drop. Okay. So in all good relationships over time, just think business, just business trends, right? If you're running a business, what you want is you want that nice upward statistic over time. And if there's a dip, you course correct. If there's a little dip, boop, boop, and over time you see a trend, that trend is definitely it's an upward trajectory over time, an upward trend. And so, how do you do that? Well, very rarely are you going to, I think the more accomplished people become in some of the basics of happy relationships, that course correction it's not even a hiccup anymore. It's just like, boom, it's like automatic. But a lot of times, if you've not figured this out yet, or if you don't have the tools in your emotional toolbox to deal with it, those will need to be expanded. But basically, you are in control of your relationship. You, as an individual, are in control of the relationship. You are not in control of your partner. There's a different thing. You're in control of the relationship. You're in control of your part of the relationship. And if the partner is going through stress, he or she is sidetracked, they're thinking of things, they're not fully present, they're kind of off their home game, so to speak, you may feel like you have to row harder, and then irritation starts to, rowing the boat, where you're in a boat together and someone's like distracted, so they're not rowing in sync, they're not rowing maybe at all, or it doesn't seem that way. What you do is you've got to have some personal mindset tools to work from. That is the best thing that you can do as a partner, because if you're a partner to someone, if you have partnered in a lifelong partner relationship, or that's the intention, right? If that's your big picture, then you've got to be that person's helpmate. You have to start to learn how to help someone. Some people draw back, then it's hard to help them because they turn in. And then we start to take that personally, but really it's just their way of dealing. They're just dealing with things through their process. When you're in a relationship, obviously that can create some fallout, because the other person may think, oh, they're mad at me. What are you mad at me for? Why are you irritated at me? And it starts this vicious circle of a downward spiral of negative comments flying back and forth. So here's a quick answer to this. You choose your own vibe. You choose your vibe. You accept that this is the stage of what your partner's going through. And I'll tell you what, it does take a long time in a relationship, many years, where people no longer are triggered as easily. It's not a regular thing to be triggered by things occurring in a relationship that reminds them of a past relationship or a past partner that it didn't work out. If you're in an early part of a relationship, these things will kind of pop up, and it's up to you to navigate them and keep them in the now. The now of the present is the most important moment that any of us own. And if Denny is particularly grouchy one day, I used to call him out on it. I did. I was like, look, we're about having a happy, this is about happy. I've got a lot to accomplish. I want to be happy. And I was constantly saying that. And what I realized over time is I just wasn't owning my own happy. My own happy is my happy. And he can augment my happy. He can supplement my happy. But ultimately, my happy is my happy. And the same for him. If I'm going through like a more stressful time, he used to get ticked at me because I apparently was not being as communicative as I should have been, because I tended to go in to solve the problem, right? And so over time, through communication, we have kind of figured out, okay, this is just how he deals with problems. This is how I deal with problems. But we do know the importance of communicating. But that takes time, and it takes a high level of emotional intelligence and just being chill, just being chill. And remembering that this is the now. Your point of creation is now. I'm very big on teaching meditation to my clients, not teaching them meditation. I have a meditation sequence that I learned a few years ago that works incredibly well for me, and I share it with them. But just teaching the importance of meditation, teaching the importance of maybe as a daily walk in nature for someone. Maybe it's getting on a bicycle and riding that bicycle. It's getting your own self in that Zen zone where you are just in the moment and you're operating from right now, and you're just, it's ease and flow, and you're bringing your best in all situations inside of relationships. You will notice that the fallout for them will decrease significantly just by you choosing your own vibe and having whatever tools you need, whether it's journaling, to remind yourself of the vision. That's a good thing to do. If it's reading an affirmation statement, if it's meditation, if it's prayer, if it's walking outside, whatever, bicycling, swimming, whatever that is, you have to find your own, what I call toolbox. And it's your toolbox for your own adjustment, so that the little thing that that person's dealing with that's made you feel like you're out of sync, right? That you're bringing in syncness, and you'll just rise the relationship. It's incredible. It's really not that hard if you want to have a happy, healthy relationship. Those tools are available to you, and I love to teach you this because it took me a lot longer. Oh, it took me many, many decades of reading so many books and doing so many workshops and classes to figure out just how simple it is. So I like to share that simplicity.